those people were no genius if it was right in front of their faces. I don't care what they say. Let them say what they want. I don't care what their opinion of me is. I don't care what their opinions are. Well, let them say what they want. I don't care. Yeah? Tell that to these guys. I'm feeling better now. Welcome to my review of Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. Please enjoy. It's a fun episode. I'm only mugging to the camera because Angie Mahindra has a lot of fun doing that in the episode. Okay, on with the review. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my revisitation review of Doctor Who Series 12, Episode 4, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. And after the previous episode, thank goodness for Nikola Tesla. I mean, okay, it's not like an all-time great or anything, but thank goodness for this episode, because this episode is good. It's really, really good. In fact, rewatching it this time around, I actually prefer it to when I previously saw it the first three times around. It's just a really fun and engaging episode, whilst also being a great pseudo-historical story focusing on a historical celebrity, Nikola Tesla in this case, and also Thomas Edison. But yeah, this is just a really great story. I can't believe it. I mean, I liked it before this rewatch, but this time around it's just really enjoyable and really fun. I think I now know why so many people love this episode or really like this episode. I just liked it, but a lot of people really liked it. And now I get it, more so than I used to. So, yeah, a bit like with It Takes Away, except this time it's actually enjoyable. So the plot of Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, is that these aliens called the Skifra, who look like scorpions in their natural form, giant scorpions, have come to try and find Nikola Tesla in order to get him to repair their ship, as they can't fix it themselves, and it's not even their ship in the first place. They've stolen a lot of technology and stuff. They're lazy buggers who just steal from other species and just try and use it as their own tech. But now it's breaking down, and they need Tesla to repair everything. So they try and kidnap him after they sent a signal from around Mars area. Tesla signaled back, so they went to go and find him, and they now trying to get him to come and fix their ship. When coming to Earth to try and get him, they take the forms of people who have died and will kill people and then take their forms, and then they try to bring Tesla towards him. Not sure why they go after Thomas Edison, though, when we see that later on, but they try to find Nikola Tesla and they try to take him with them. However, the Doctor turns up and rescues Nikola Tesla and his assistant, Dorothy Skerritt, and she brings them along with her and her companions, and they head off to New York to Tesla's lab there, and they have to try and find out who is wanting Tesla, what they want with him, and how they've got all this technology. And they also go to see Thomas Edison to see if it's him who's involved. But whilst he sent someone to spy on Tesla, he wasn't involved with the alien tech stuff, and he gets wrapped into this story as well. So everybody's having to try and stop the Skifra from trying to take Tesla in order to repair their ship. Otherwise, they will destroy the planet. So the Doctor and Tesla have to work on a way to send the ship away from Earth before anybody can be harmed. That's more or less the plot of Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. But yeah, this is just a really fun story. It's probably the most fun of the historicals as well. It doesn't really have as big of a hard-hitting impact as some of the others, but there are the moments of bits where we do feel very sorry for Tesla. He doesn't have much money. People are not backing him financially as much. People think he's He's dangerous and doing all these dangerous experiments. Edison is bad-mouthing him. And even after all of this, he's not going to get the respect he deserves until his inventions and ideas start to take off further on. As the Doctor says, he's the guy who dreamt up the 20th century. And whilst many of his ideas would happen over the 20th century, such as radar and Wi-Fi and AC, the electricity system, and many others, he would get a car named after him, a car brand called Tesla. I think it's an electric one as well. I could be wrong about that. But despite that, he wasn't really well recognised during his lifetime, and he would die penniless. Even after saving the world, nobody knows, and he's not going to be as well recognised. Even today, he's not really well recognised, and all of these ideas came along afterwards. Other people would put them into practice and develop them further. It is a bit of a shame that he doesn't get recognised that well. He was a pretty nice guy as well in this episode. Okay, to be honest, in real life, he might not have been as nice as this. He might have been as much of a prick as Edison, or almost as much. And this episode might be a bit biased in Tesla's favour. That being said, Edison isn't an outright villain in this episode. He's just a bit of a greedy businessman who thinks that his ideas are better. But he's not an outright villain. He actually tries to help a few points, although maybe he could have been a bit more helpful. Again, the episode seemed more biased towards Tesla. But in terms of showcasing Nikola Tesla, it does a really good job in that. I also like how Dorothy Skerritt is basically the Nikola Tesla version of the Doctor's companions. They have these ideas of what they want to do in their lives. Then they meet this great guy. They do not have a romantic attachment, as far as I'm aware. And they just want to try and help them as much as possible realise these really good ideas. Something a bit more exciting and adventurous, and the companions can relate to that. I also like how, because Yaz used to be the character who talked to a lot of supporting characters in Series 11, I like how in this episode, it's kind of a mix between Ryan and Yaz, depending on the scene. And we kind of had that in the last episode with Ryan talking to Bella a lot, and again, Yaz hung out with Vilma as well. But in this episode, it's nice to see Skerritt talking to Ryan and Yaz in this episode, and it's nice that they're able to have both two companions talk to supporting characters instead of it just being on Yaz. Yaz also helps out a little bit more later on in the episode, trying to get people off the streets with Edison. Ryan and Graham aren't as important to this episode as maybe other episodes, and Graham really is mainly there to talk to Edison. Actually, yeah, Graham does get to talk to Edison a few times and even give him some down-to-earth moments. But Ryan and Graham are definitely here more for comic relief this series than they are for the character arcs we saw in Series 11, which is good because that character arc was nicely wrapped up in that series and we can have a bit more fun with the characters. Plus, that means we get to have some more character growth for Yaz, or at the very least, give her stuff to do. When I initially saw this episode, I thought there was still not much personality in that character explored still. But I can at least acknowledge that she did some stuff. In this time round, again, there still isn't a huge amount of personality there, besides talking to the characters. I think she's got a bit more personality in this episode than I initially thought. So there's some good signs there. And as mentioned, she gets some good stuff to do. The supporting characters this time around, we've only got 3 main supporting characters. Thank goodness, last episode it bumped the number up to about 12, having about, I think, 8 supporting characters, including Benny. So that bumped up the cast to 12. Here, it's only 3 supporting characters, so it's 7, 8 if you count the villain. So, yeah, thank goodness, it's a smaller supporting cast, and they all do really well. The actors are really great, especially the actor of Nikola Tesla. He is brilliant. He probably delivers the best guest performance of this series after the Master, Sacha Dhawan as the Master. But after him, the actor playing Nikola Tesla probably provides the best supporting character performance. And speaking of pretty great supporting character performances, Angie Mahindra, who is most notable for playing Rani Chandra in the Sarah Jane Adventures, plays the Skiffer Queen in this episode. Whilst the character isn't that amazing, and there is that one bit when we're introduced to her where you've got this kind of silhouette walking towards the camera from a distance, and then we have a couple of weird close-up shots just quickly edited together, which is what I mentioned in the previous review. But thankfully, we're actually able to see what she looks like in these shots. And Angie Mahindra does a really great job mucking to the camera and being delicious. Maybe she's a little bit camp, but it's fun camp as opposed to hammy acting as we saw in the previous episodes. Fun fact, Jodie Whittaker is Angie Mahindra's 3rd Doctor that she's playing a role in an episode that features a Doctor. She met David Tennant and Matt Smith in episodes of the Sarah Jane Adventures when she played Rani. And if you take Big Finish into account, this is like the fourth, I think, because I think she... I don't know if she meets the Sixth Doctor, but she's definitely in a Sixth Doctor audio with Flip. I think I've got the CD, I might even show it later. But I haven't heard the story yet. And that story is Scavenger, which is number 184 in the monthly range audios, starring Colin Baker as the Sixth Doctor and Lisa Greenwood as Flip Jackson. Yeah, Philippa Flip Jackson. And like I said, I haven't heard this one yet. I'm just showing you it. I think this is like her fourth Doctor overall. And I think she does something for the Eighth Doctor or for Time Lord Victorious, which might allow her to meet the Eighth Doctor. Or is it the 10th Doctor again? If it's the Eighth Doctor, then it would be her fifth. So Angie Mahindra is meeting a lot of Doctors. And what's even more interesting is that she's the civil partner to Sacha Dhawan, who plays the Master, and they got to do a couple behind the sofas for the season 8 box set, so she got to watch some John Pertwee stories for free and react to them with Sacha Dhawan. This is also why Sacha Dhawan gets a with thanks credit at the end of the farewell Sarah Jane Smith audio thing that was released in April last year. The design of the Sith Queen is pretty interesting. She's a Scorpion lady, although I am a bit surprised that she's a bit smaller to what the other Scorpion creatures, who are very CG'd, look like in their real form. They look quite big, whilst she looks normal sized, just a little bit of Scorpion attachments to it. This might be a downside of maybe making the Scorpion Queen too humanized, so that they can get a more human actor performance from the actress rather than CG'd. But the downside of that is that the other Scorpions look like they're actually bigger than the Scorpion Queen. Some people thought the Rachnos would be back, and I can understand if they were disappointed that they wouldn't, but considering what we got at the end of Runaway Bride, I'm not surprised that the Rachnos are back. Just don't hate the episode for the fact that the villains you thought were coming back are not the villains who are in the story, okay? That is not how you do critical opinions. Don't criticize the story because the villains you thought were going to be in the story are not in the story. That's like criticizing the Power of the Daleks Special Edition DVD and Blu-ray because they removed or said that they actually wasn't going to be a trailer for the Highlanders on the release. Oh wait, somebody fucking did that! To that person, fucking idiot. Thankfully, you guys are much better critics, whether that's subjective or objective or mix critiques. You're at least much better at doing it than some other people. I don't really have much more to say about this episode, apart from it's another episode that looks really good. Some great directing. Oh yeah, actually, that does remind me of one thing. This is the third episode in Doctor Who's history, release-wise at least, to be written and directed by women. The two first names sound very different to each other, so I'd probably get mixed up on them, so I just typed them. But yeah, we got a female writer and a female director for the third time in the show's history. Even better, we've got a female producer on this episode, as this episode is produced by Nikki Wilson. Also, the script editor is female as well, so it's a 4-female team on this one. We just needed a female executive producer alongside Chris Chibnall and Matt Strevens, and we would have had the full package. Or almost the full package, because the showrunner's not a woman, but, you know, executive producer is close enough. So, almost the full package. And this won't be the last female writer-director story of the series, as The Haunting of Villa Diodati is also written by a female writer and directed by a female director. The latter of whom also directs the previous episode, which is co-written by a woman with Chris Chibnall, but it still half counts. So we got 2 technically more episodes that are written or co-written by women and directed by women, making a total of 5 stories. And if we're going individual episodes, 9, because Enlightenment's 4 parts. So, here's to you, ladies. You did brilliantly with this story. A great story, and it's greatly well done. If I had any nitpicks and criticisms, I still stand by my opinion from my first 2 viewings that the ending's a little bit rushed. It is a bit rushly handled, and I think they could have slowed it down a bit, considering we had about 25 minutes of build up to the villain, just spending our time with Tesla and these aliens coming to try and find him, and then around the halfway mark, that's when we met the Skipper Queen. Considering we're building up all of the stuff with Tesla and the villains, and then all of the stuff with the villains, and then we just have a kind of a bit of a quick ending. I mean, I wouldn't say it's rushed, but it does feel like it's over pretty quickly. Maybe we could have a few more minutes, but it does feel like it's over a bit quickly, which is probably why I just thought it was good the first time round rather than really good. But now, I think it's really, really good. and really fun and really enjoyable. Great performances, great direction, great cinematography, great sets. Another nitpick is the way when the Skipper Queen is introduced, we have those stupid, fast, quick edits of the camera angles and different positions. It's done too quickly. Just calm it down a little bit. It's not dramatic when you're just going cutting. Just make it a dramatic shot, okay? But besides those nitpicks, this is a really great story and a really fun one as well. I will be giving Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror a 9 out of 10. The first episode to have a rise in score of Series 12, and the first one since It Takes You Away, although Orphan 55 would be the first one of the series that went down in score, and would be the first one since Battle of Ranskorath Kolos, and that's a small gap. But yeah, this is a really fun, really engaging episode, and it's quite a great adventure. I won't say it's not my favourite of the Whittaker historicals. I would probably say it's fourth. I would put it above the Witchfinders, but that's mainly due to Witchfinders kind of falling short of the ending. Nikola Tesla, on the other hand, is a really great and fun, engaging story from start to finish, even if said finish is a little bit quick, but it's still really well handled, which is why I would put that above Witchfinders. I would have otherwise put Witchfinders above this one, but because it buckled at the ending and this one didn't, apart from pacing, then yeah, this one's better. So that's it from my review of Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. Thank you so much for watching this review. And I'll see you guys next time for Episode 5, Fugitive of the Judoon, which is going to be a fun Judoon story, right? Some people thought it might be an allegory of police brutality and the over-excessiveness of police violence, and that would have been a good angle to go down, but Fugitive of the Judoon decides to go a different route than what many of us were expecting, I guess. And unlike Orphan 55, where BBC America was saying, oh, don't miss this story, but whilst that episode had an important message that was just weakly handled and BBC America were hyping it up for that, next time round, they've actually got a good reason to hype it up. Mostly. I'll see you guys next time for the unexpected game changer, Fugitive of the Judoon. I'll see you guys then. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne YouTube channel.